Today, I want to talk about something that has saved me more times than I can count, and that is creative work as a healing practice. Whatever your outlet is, it could be music, it could be drawing, it could be dancing, it could be acting, it could be improv, it could be stand-up comedy, it could be interior design. You get the point. That medium of creative expression is your pathway of union with the universe. And today we're going to unpack that. In case we haven't met, my name is Itai and I'm a yoga teacher. I've been solo traveling across Asia for the past 9 months while I teach yoga and study the art of yoga. And my watercolor kit, this camera, my journal, and my recording equipment, and my guitar, it saved my life. I want to put you onto a yogi's perspective on creativity, which you might have not heard before. I teach yoga to a community of thousands of people online, and for every student, I emphasize the importance of journaling and all kinds of creative work as a necessary pillar of yoga practice. Here are some watercolors that I did this week. Every time I get to hear the sound of the brush on the page, smell the scents coming off my watercolor kit, and touch the little drops of water coming off my brush, I return to my happy place, to my sanctuary. I'm trying to think of the first time I ever realized that creativity was such a valuable outlet. I think the first time I ever realized art was medicine was when I started learning to play my favorite songs on piano. My first piano teacher, she just wanted to teach me classical pieces, music I'd never heard before. And although I would have loved to play those, I wasn't very connected to the music because I wasn't familiar with it. But then when I entered 4th grade, I got this piano teacher who was down to teach me Coldplay songs. Imagine that, Coldplay. And my whole perspective on life changed. When I would be sitting at home on my keyboard playing these songs that I listened to in my headphones for years and years, I felt myself convening with my favorite artists. I felt like I was able to relate to them finally and understand them. It made my problems seem so much more small, and it made me feel like I was joining a universal lineage of artists that have existed since the beginning of time. So that made me long to create something of my own, and before long I was composing. That helped me convene with my inner self, not just my heroes. It helped form my taste and my identity. Because all of our egos are just an accumulation of a bunch of little creative choices we made. And even if you don't write music, you still have to pick what outfit to wear today. You still have to pick what to eat for breakfast. And you have to pick which street to take on your way home. That is a creative choice you cannot abstain from. By making art, you're accepting that this creativity is a necessary part of everyday life. And by doing this, we find that making art is not about making something impressive that is gonna make other people go, oh my God, you're so talented. It's actually about making something entirely different. It's about making space inside yourself. It's about taking a little smidge of self-worth and blowing it up to the size of the planet. And once you develop this confidence, this self-love, it's so much easier to share it with the world and uplift those around you. Taking this perspective when we pick up our pen, when we pick up our guitar, when we get up on stage, we can transmute feelings of anxiety, restlessness, or confusion into assertion, poise, and beauty. So when I first started therapy, I did art therapy. Me and my therapist would watercolor, and I wouldn't take my eye off the page as I told her about everything I was dealing with. At the end of the session, this amazing therapist would take a look at what I painted and pick it apart in such a beautiful and meaningful way, which goes to show how our subconscious really comes out onto the page when we create. I know you can relate to this feeling of saying something that you weren't expecting to say and surprising yourself with your words. We can transfer that onto the canvas, onto the blank page, as a way to get to know our subconscious mind and bring all these buried patterns, thoughts, and emotions up to the surface where you can look at them and decide whether you want to keep it or throw it in the trash. Also, there's this concept in yoga called pratyahara. It's one of Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, and it refers to withdrawing your senses from the outside world. And that's exactly what we do when we enter flow state creating. When you're on the pottery wheel, when you're in the welding studio. I understand these examples are getting crazy, but bear with me. When you're doing whatever practice you do, you are not thinking about what's going on around you. You are thinking only of what's going on in your mind and in the art. That in itself is a form of meditation. The mark of a yogi is to be able to hear a blaring car horn outside the window and not get anxious by it. By proxy, being able to receive a negative remark from an unkind person and not letting it disrupt your positivity. Practicing art is a way to insulate yourself from all these external factors, and it's my favorite way to practice pratyahara. A lot of people love to say, oh, I would, but I don't have time. I would write this play. I would finish this novel. I would take improv classes, but I don't have time. And this is why I encourage you to take creativity and make it a microcosmic part of your daily routine. You might wish you had a whole day or a whole week to lock yourself in a cabin and do some creative work, but what can you do with 5 minutes? You can brush your teeth in 5 minutes, you can do the dishes in 5 minutes, and you have no problem taking daily time for that. So why not show your creative brain the same love? I challenge you to think right now, and you can even write it in the comments if you want. What is a 5-minute creative act that you can do every day? Maybe you want to write a haiku. Maybe you want to do a quick sketch. Maybe you just want to sing a little bit. Maybe you want to text a funny joke to your friend or spouse to make them laugh. Think out of the box with it. There are so many ways to be creative. And when it comes to creativity, consistency is more important than depth. Showing up for 5 minutes every day for a month is gonna have a way longer lasting impression than showing up for one 12-hour session and burning yourself out. Form this habit using minimum viable effort. What is the shortest amount of time you can devote to creativity to make it a daily habit that will snowball and increase in length day by day? And this one's for all the perfectionists out there. The process is more important than the product, y'all. It doesn't matter how it looks. In fact, you can throw it in the garbage when you're done if you want to. It's the fact that you took this the time. Taking the time to create is a profound act of rebellion against the modern systems that want us to just hustle. So detach yourself from the fruits of your labor, from the product of how the art itself comes out. Just enjoy the process itself. The cliche of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey definitely applies here, as cliche as it is. What if you gave yourself permission to do something spontaneously creative? Like, for example, write a haiku in the comment section right now. I dare you, write a haiku in the comment section. Or any kind of mini poem that's gonna take you no less than 30 seconds to write. Just get it out there. No one's gonna judge you for it, I promise. And see how it feels. Is it possible that making that decision bolsters your sense of identity, your sense of worthiness? I promise it does. When you do this, you let your hands become translators for the messages in your heart. Don't let them stay in your heart, share them with the world. It's your responsibility to take your unique thoughts and communicate them in a way that people can share. Out of your heart, through your hands. And also let me know below how you create to heal. What is your medium of choice? Now these paintings are not perfect, but I love them because they enabled me to go through the process of painting, of using my creative brain. Now I just want to leave you with this mantra. May your hands remember what your heart knows. One more time, may your hands remember what your heart knows. If you're new to this channel, check out my other videos. I post yoga tutorials, guided meditations, sharing my art, sharing my favorite music, yapping about whatever I want. I think you'll enjoy it. If you subscribe to this channel, I promise I will continue doing everything I can to make this the best channel out there. I love you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Catch you next time. Peace and love.